And I wish some of y'all would mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news. Let me just tell you that right now. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. That's what you better do. Because that's my wife. And she grown. She didn't need nobody to sign no paperwork for her. Now, if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up. But you a hypocrite. So don't you forget the Bible say marriage is honorable. And the Bible said when you find a wife, honey, you find favor with God, honey. I found some favor with God. And we sleeping good at night. Ain't nobody up all night worrying about all these crooks. But I felt I need to say that because somebody talking about what they're going to do if they see you. I'm telling you now, don't let the devil fool you. Because I ain't the one to play with. I get on the other side here. Wish you would.
All right. This pervert pastor is 63 years old. He married an 18-year-old woman of his congregation. She had actually attended a school, a church-sponsored school, his church-sponsored school, you know, for some years. And he married her when she turned 18. And then he egregiously chided some of his congregation openly about the fact that she was legal when he married her, okay? Now, he's right about her being married legal and all, but I gotta say, you know, when I look at this motherfucker and I hear what he's talking about, sometimes you just have to get street justice and shit, okay? But sometimes you have to do things that people don't like and whatnot. And that's the problem with our society today. Everyone's walking on fucking eggshells around the other person and shit, when we should just let things go to their natural conclusion and whatnot. You know, I gotta be honest, you know, the way I feel, I probably wouldn't have allowed him to do this in public, you know, in front of me if I was sitting in the congregation. I probably would have gotten up and walked to the pulpit and knocked over the podium that he was talking at, you know, and stared at him. You know, then, you know, before anybody could get me, I would have grabbed his ankles and yanked him down off of there and let him fall and hit his head and everything. You know, this guy is a pervert. Alright? He's 45. She was 45. He's 45 years older than her. She was 45 when he was born and shit. We've seen a lot of older guys with really younger women and shit. You know. And I gotta say, you know, I don't know how I feel about it and shit, okay? One way or the other. But his behavior make me want to do some criminal assault on his ass, okay? Metaphorically speaking and shit. I feel like put my foot up his ass. You know, I honestly, you know, I have nothing other to say than, you know, I would like to see the congregation. I wish I had another camera facing the people he was talking to, because I want to know how many actual, you know, I guess you say cisgendered men were sitting in the audience listening to this shit. You know, I'm talking about full-grown men and shit. You know, not including the deacons of the church and whoever the fuck else walking around there. But this guy needed his ass whooped all over the place and shit. He needed to be excoriated and shit physically, and expunged from that church. Every time he tries to come around there, somebody should be waiting for him to fucking fight him and shit. Because he was talking greasy. And they should have weapons too. They should have weapons, like high yield weapons. They should have like fucking hunting rifle and shit, since that seems to be the weapon of choice this summer for white supremacists. You know, they should have like a fucking shotgun, you know, whatever, whoever got killed, concealed carry, should be flashing them their weapons. Like, hey, I don't like your marriage to the 18-year-old girl. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that. The reason we're telling you that is because you want to be extra about it and shit. You want to be out in the open with your child bride and shit, okay? 45 when she was born. 45 years old. And the family, you know, who's the fucking family of this female? You know, where's her father? You know, specifically. I find that we ask ourselves that a lot when we see situations like that. And a lot of times the women will tell you that the dad was a Rolling Stone and he's nowhere to be found, or it's just some dude that has been mentally destroyed over the course of their marriage, and he's just laying there like inert matter and shit. He just wants to be quiet. He wants to, you know, retract and be as small as possible so that the bitch will leave him alone. Alright? Because he's too lazy to think outside the box, which is that fucking house and that shitty government-sponsored marriage he's trapped in. I know how it sounds, but this guy should be physically excoriated for doing what he did and talking greasy. Needs his ass whooped. I mean, seriously, he needs to be punched hard. Like, you know, some Mike Tyson level punches. You know, like at least 4 to 6 guys should bum rush his ass and be like, shut the fuck up. Don't say shit. Sit your ass down. You know, and tell his wife to shut up too. Like, how the fuck, if you was like some parents and your daughter came home with a motherfucker that was 45 years older than her and told you that they were in a relationship, how would you react to that shit? That's what I have to ask, and that's why the black community, you know, sometimes it'd be like a fucking joke and shit. Now, you know, I know how it makes me sound even saying that fucking sentence, but I have siblings, you know, I have female siblings and shit, and I've seen bullshit, you know, and a lot of times whenever my female siblings or relatives are doing something shitty in this vein, they get real secretive. They get real fucking secretive. When I'm talking to them, they don't say shit. They just like, oh, everything's fine. I'm like, are you sure? You know, yeah, everything's fine. Then I tell them I was looking at their social media, and they get real, you know, shitty with me, and you know, we end up not talking and shit because they know how I fucking feel about it. You know, when you have children, you have a boy child, he carries your name to the future. When you have a girl child, she carries your genes to the future along with your son, but she makes a new family tree with another person and blends that family with your family. Like, if they're hooking up with these degenerates, these fucking jailbirds, these, you know, old-ass perverts like this and shit, man, what does that say about you as a parent and shit? And how do you respond to that? You know, in the old days, you get a belt or ironing cord and you beat the shit out of that female, and you tell her that shit ain't happening, you know? That's what they do in the old days, but that's a crime, you know? And I came up, I'm a Generation Xer, I came up between, you know, after the boomers and shit, you know, and then these fucking millennials or whatever, you know, they're sandwiched in there. We're sandwiched in there. We got the worst of everything. We got the neglect and the bad PR and shit. They said we were slackers and all this bullshit, you know, while the boomers were busy robbing us of our birthright and shit. And then these millennials came by and they just entitled as fuck, laying on their ass, you know, whining all the fucking time. Alright, that's bitches born after 1980, you know, in case somebody gonna bring me the smoke. And I get tired. I see so many goddamn videos talking about what Generation Xers do and how they behave. They don't know shit. I'm a fucking Generation Xer. And I say this shit wouldn't stand. This shit wouldn't stand, man. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to put out a rant video after I put out this one and shit, because I'm irritated as fuck listening to this guy running his mouth talking greasy and shit when somebody should have been like, shut your old ass up right now. You better read that fucking Bible. You better read that white man's Bible and tell us about white Jesus and shit and shut the fuck up. Alright, you shut the fuck up and you take your child bride and you kick rocks, okay? Yeah, you want to talk greasy, we'll see you after church, and you ain't going to the back, okay? When they start playing that fucking organ and shit, you ain't slipping out, okay? We'll have some motherfuckers waiting right there by that door you think you gonna walk out of and shit. You gonna walk right out the front and get some hands. I'm like, okay, you got your shit? You wanna draw down? You got a gun? I got one too. Okay, we got guns. You want some of this? This old ass motherfucker, man. I'm in my 50s. This motherfucker in his 60s and shit. He was a fucking adult when I was a kid and shit. More likely. I mean, damn, like, who the fuck, you didn't hear shit in there. You heard this guy talking greasy like he had some fucking henchman or something, like he the fucking penguin or something. He got some dudes lined up on the wall, showing they guns or whatever. I'm like, how the fuck could you sit up and listen to some old ass pervert talk about his underage bride, his child bride, might as well call her underage even though she's 18. What does an 18-year-old person know of life and shit compared to a 63-year-old? All she there is for physical, because of the physical. He doesn't love her. He's just banking her. She's getting this dirty shit. Got some young, fine shit. This chick, I want to know the mindset of the 18-year-old female. I want to know if she's your standard, run-of-the-mill, over-entitled, infantilized black female that we see a lot in overabundance today. Which makes me sad because I know there's real women out there somewhere, But, they got their head up their ass doing that whole, wall of silence that some of these sisters like to do. They ain't gonna call out these other stinking ass bitches that got them playing the background and shit. Or some of these old relics and shit that they just think like, oh, well, they got it like that. I used to hear that in the 90s in LA and shit. When chicks were doing fucked up shit, the other chick would say, well, she could do that. She got it like that. So this chick got it like that, married some old 63-year-old pastor and shit. She gonna be sitting on an old ass dick and shit. This nigga on some Viagra doing all kind of shit, Who knows what she's doing? But she's doing something. She's getting fucked. She's getting brains fucked out. And then they're parading that shit in front of other people that like baby boomers, Generation Xers, millennials, whoever the fuck comes in there. They're getting a parade of this shit right in front of them. This debauchery and shit, I might say. I don't care how I sound. I'm agnostic and shit. I believe in the Most High. I believe there's more out there. There's something out there. But it's been perverted on this plane of existence by this fucked up system we live in. Anyway, that being said and shit, if you're a real man and shit, you got anything to say about this, hey, comment below, and I will be putting out a rant video on the same subject matter right after this.
In a rage.
Oh yeah? Yo, why is that, G?
Of the races, they say we act like rats in a cage. I tried to argue, but check it. Every night in the news, we prove them suckers right, and I got the blues.
America.
Get busy, Humpty.
The red, the white, the blue and the red for Crips and Bloods, the white for who's got you doing time. Busting caps on one another.
The underground's down for peace among brothers.
Kill a black man?
What?
Yo, what are you, retarded?
Tell them, Humpty.
Yo, do you work for the Klan?
Do what you like.
Unless you like gang banging. Let's see how many brothers leave us hanging.